Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Shain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Committee on Public Finance refuses BOI on lack of analysis. Government enhances measures on food security. News in detail. The government recently implemented a multi-sector mechanism with the objective of formulating a grassroots strategy to ensure food security and nutrition. The mechanism ensures guidance and supervision for the production and distribution of essential food and the capability of obtaining food rations at various administrative levels. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved a memorandum submitted by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to establish a food policy committee. This committee involves the participation of heads of relevant institutions and is chaired by the Secretary to the President in order to build trust among producers, traders as well as customers on monitoring supply chains within the country. It also targets short-term issues with regard to supply, pricing and marketing with a view to implement the mechanism formally and efficiently along with other long-term programs. In another measure to shore up food security, the government annually implements a 4 billion rupee school lunch program which supports 1.08 million students in 7,926 schools. Accordingly, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the proposal submitted by President Ranil Wickremesinghe on taking appropriate steps to provide a wholesome meal to another 1 million school students. In keeping with the issue of food security, the Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the procurement of 40,000 metric tons of muriate of potash for the Maha season from 2022 to 2023, utilizing $50 million provided by the Asian Development Bank.
ආහාර ප්‍රතිපත්ති කමිටුව ස්ථාපිත කිරීම සඳහා ජනාධිපතිතුමා විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කළ කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවක් දීර්ඝ ලෙස සාකච්ඡා කරලා පූර්ණ අනුමැතිය ලබා දුන්නා. ඊයේ කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව මගින් අනුමැතිය ලබා දුන්නා. තවත් අතිරේකව බිලියන 4ක් පාසල් සිසුන්ගේ දිවාහාර වැඩසටහනට ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. එතකොට සිසුන්ගෙන් 151කට ආහාර සුරක්ෂිතතාවය ඇති වෙනවා මේ තුලින්.
Candy Odyssey, the latest weekend intercity express train catering to Candybound tourists, recently made its maiden journey from Colombo Fort Railway Station. Minister of Transport and Highways Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, during the launch of the service, said it would facilitate tourists visiting the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic and the Peradeniya Botanical Gardens.
අපේ රටේ දුම්රියේ ධාවන ඉතිහාසයේ වැදගත් දිනයක්. මක්නිසාදයක් අද දින පටන් සෑම සතියන්තයකම කොළඹ සිට මහනුවර දක්වා දිවෙන සීඝ්‍රගාමී සුඛෝපභෝගී දුම්රියක් ආරම්භ වෙනවා. සෙනසුරාදා දිනවල පාන්දර 6:30ට පිටත් වෙන දුම්රිය 9:15ට මහනුවරට ළඟා වෙනවා. දලදා මාලිගාව ඇතුළු අනිකුත් පූජනීය ස්ථාන වැඳ පුදා ගන්නත් ඒ වගේම අවශ්‍ය මගීන්ට පෙරාදෙණිය උද්භිත උද්‍යානය නරඹලා ඒ නුවර ඉඳන් ආපසු පස්වරු 4:50ට නුවරින් පිටත් වෙනවා දුම්රිය. ඉරිදා දිනේටත් එහෙමයි. ඒ නිසා මේ ඉන්ධන පිරිවැය අධික වෙලා තියෙන අවස්ථාවේදී ඊටම ආරක්ෂා සහිතව විශ්වාසවන්ත ලෙස සුඛෝපභෝගී සතියන්ත දුම්රියක් කැන්ඩි ඔඩිසි කියලා ආරම්භ වෙනවා. මීට කලින් දුම්රිය දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව ආරම්භ කරපු ඇල්ල ඔඩිසි මගී ජනතාව අතර ඊටම ජනප්‍රිය විශ්වාසවන්ත අලුත් ගමන් මාර්ගයක් බවට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
MA is holding South Asia's largest apparel manufacturer Unveils official national cricket jersey for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup in Australia this year. The jerseys were designed and manufactured at Nirmana, the MA's active facility in Katunayaka. The jersey was handed over by Chairman of MAS Holdings, Mahesh Amlin, and CEO of MAS Active, Chelan Gunathilaka, to Sri Lanka T20 World Cup captain Dasun Shanaka and the Chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket, Shammi Silva. MAS has built a trusting relationship with SLC since 2005, designing and manufacturing world-class performance apparel for the national cricket team, improving style, comfort and functionality to enhance the player performance. Over the years, MAS has introduced new fabrication technologies for the national jersey, including high-performance synthetic fabric, lightweight sport fabrication and sublimation printing, perspiration, mesh fabric and laser perspiration holes. Since 2014, MAS has also focused on improving the aesthetic of the jersey, which has been inspired by Sri Lanka's unique heritage and identity, giving more meaning to the attire. Recent designs have incorporated the symbol of the lion and lion's pride to motivate the young team to perform their best on the field, with a spirit witnessed during the recent Asia Cup, from which the team emerged as champions. Ahead of the 2022 ICC T20 World Cup, feedback from players highlighted difficulties in performing with garments that cling to the body due to perspiration. The latest jersey developed by the MAS Active comes after assessing environmental conditions in Australia and incorporates learning from weather patterns and human biology. Based on a map of perspiration zones on the body, MAS Active developed an engineered fabric with varying levels of ventilation to keep the player fresh and comfortable. This is in addition to existing wicking and moisture management technologies used to create a lightweight, highly absorbent, stretchable and breathable fabric tailored to maintain the right fit and comfort.
හැම පාරම අපේ මේ ප්ලාන්ට් එකේ තමයි මේ ජර්සි අපි නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්නේ. මේ පාර අපේ ජර්සි හදලා තියෙන්නේ නිර්මාණශීලීත්වය හා තාක්ෂණය දියුණු කරමින් තමයි ගොඩ දුරට අපේ ජර්සිය මේ අපි නිර්මාණය කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකේ හවුල්කාරයක් වෙන එක ගැන හරිම ආඩම්බරයෙන් හරිම ගෞරවයෙන් කියන්න ඕනි. මේ පාර වර්ල්ඩ් කප් එකට යන අපේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් ටීම් එකට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපි සුබපත් වෙනවා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් කණ්ඩායමේ ටී-ෂර්ට් එක අපි බැටරි නිෂ්පාදනය කරන බව අපිට ආරංචි වුණා. ඇත්තටම අපිට ලොකු කුතුහලයක් තිබ්බා ඒක කොයි ලයින් එකට සෙට් වෙයිද කියලා. වාසනාවකට වගේ ඒක අපේ ලයින් එකට සෙට් වුණා. යාළුවෝ මගේ ගොඩක් ඇහුවා මං ඒ ලයින් එක මොකද කරන්නේ? ඇත්තටම මට ඒක කියන්නත් බෑ. ඒක අපි නිෂ්පාදනයේ රහසක් වගේ තමයි අපි ඒක නිෂ්පාදනය කරේ. ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් සතුටුයි මට ඒ නිෂ්පාදනයේ වැඩක් කරන්න ලැබීම ගැන.
Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
Meet your work and learn targets. Get 30 GB Meet Lite for just 195 rupees and 100 GB Meet Max for 490 rupees. Log on to My SLT app to activate. SLT Mobitel.
5-star teaching quality for 16 years straight. Edith Cowan University in Sri Lanka offering the only full Australian degrees in commerce, software engineering, cybersecurity, biomedical science, gaming and interactive design. Enrolling now for the November 2022 intake. Call 077 3900.
Welcome back after the break. The Committee on Public Finance has refused to approve the order under the Strategic Development Project Act, which was scheduled to be debated in Parliament today. COPF Chairman Dr. Harsha De Silva says the decision was taken as the Board of Investment failed to provide proper analysis on the matter when the committee convened yesterday.
The first one is an order under the Strategic Development Projects Act. We would like the chairman of the BOI to explain to us, please, given on the one hand we are trying to increase revenue and taxing everybody left, right and center, you are asking us to give a tax holiday to a company for 12 years, including VAT, dividend tax, PAL, cess, income tax, corporate income tax on employment and all of that. So we would really need a justification as to why you are requesting this, because given the background. Yes. Just a moment. Secretary, will you tell us if under the IMF agreement you are going to continue the Strategic Development Act?
Sir, after the agreement, sir, it may be a no.
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 So why are you asking for things under the SDP now? So if you are going to get rid of the SDP Act, why are you asking for massive tax reductions, tax exemptions under the SDP? Under the IMF agreement, as far as we know, we haven't been, maybe the Deputy Secretary can enlighten us. What we understand is that even export companies will be taxed at 30%, right? If that is the case, I want to know, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Deputy Secretary, if that is coming, you already signed a staff level agreement. You are coming to us now and asking for 12 years tax holidays for a particular company. Now, what I want you to justify is why and on what specific basis are you requesting us to do this?
This order mentioned in Gazette number 2291/25, dated 3rd August 2022 and enacted by the President as the Minister of Finance, was presented to Parliament on the 20th of September 2022. Dr. Harsha De Silva inquired from the BOI as to what benefits the economy would reap through this provision, which seeks to provide a 12-year tax concession.
Mr. Chairman, we have sat in this committee for now a number of years. Somebody came and told us that they are going to reduce taxes, right? And then, that there would be, massive growth that would happen after the tax reduction. Now there is acceptance that there was no proper analysis before that tax reduction was done. And the state coffers lost about 500 to 600 billion rupees. And that perhaps was the catalyst to this catastrophe that we are facing today. The Honorable MP, Dr. Suren Raghavan, is asking you a simple question. What is the tax that you are going to forego if they were taxed at the current rate as opposed to the tax rate that is going to be introduced by you, which is 30%? How much are you going to forego is the question.
Well, I am unable to answer that question. It's a good question, I understand that. But however, I want to say...
We will not do this. I am going to put my foot down. Hereafter, don't come here if you don't know the answer to a simple question.
Well, I think if it is a
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I'm speaking. You are asking for a tax break, no?
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
You are asking for a 12-year tax break for a particular company called HCL. You are trying to justify saying that it has global clients, it is in the stock market, all of that. All that is granted. We also know the local, they are partnering with John Keel's Holdings, which is an absolutely stellar company. One of the best companies in Sri Lanka, and we have absolutely no issue. In fact, we want to support companies like John Keel's and others to bring these investments. But please try to understand our predicament. The Public Finance Committee's job is to actually get an analytical clarification from you. We are asking a simple question. What is the foregone tax? So if you don't know what the foregone tax is, how do you expect us to give you this?
Dr. De Silva, as chairman of the committee, expressed displeasure on the failure of the BOI to provide sufficient information to approve the request. He pointed out that information on the economic impact should be made available to the committee for it to make an informed decision that does not lead to losses in government revenue.
You know, Mr. Chairman, this is unbelievable. Mr. Honorable Member, let me tell you, this is embarrassing. You are embarrassing yourselves.
Beyond embarrassing.
You are embarrassing this committee. You're embarrassing the government. You're embarrassing the investor. You're embarrassing HCL. Let me finish.
You have already embarrassed the government.
You're embarrassing John Keel's Holdings. You're embarrassing everyone. You're coming here and asking for a massive tax break for 17 years. You're asking for 17-year tax break. You're asking for 5-year exemption for employee income tax, which is going to be 36%. You're asking for 12 years exemption for all dividend tax. You're asking for 12 years of all project-related items. You're asking for exemptions on VAT. You're asking for exemptions on port and aviation levy. You're asking for exemption on customs duty. You're asking for exemptions on cess. You're asking for a lot of things. The estimated loss is 23 million. First you said rupees, then you said dollars. And for 10 years. This is not acceptable. I am sorry to sit here in this chair. ලැජ්ජා සහගතයි. ලංකාවේ ප්‍රධාන ආයතනය. ඔබලා අපෙන් ඉල්ලනවා අවුරුදු 17ක බදු විරාමයක්. ඔබලා දන්නේ කොච්චර විරාමයක්ද ඉල්ලන්නේ?
Stay tuned for stock updates.
Meet your work and learn targets. Get 30 GB Meet Lite for just 195 rupees and 100 GB Meet Max for 490 rupees. Log on to my SLT app to activate. SLT Mobitel.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 412.81 points to close at 9,237.05, and the S&P SL20 dropped 173.66 points to close at 2,875.21. The turnover was 4.5 billion rupees and over 188 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
IWS